Yes, hello, welcome back to our signature segment, See the Stories. Now, money is a common source of stress for many people at different stages of life. Is that true or is that true?
That's very true.
Yes, and including those in retirement who and where they tend to give up their ability to grow their savings after they stop working.
That is right. Have you ever think about your retirement planning, Rangga?
Every now and then.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not a good
for
one.
me, I haven't thought about it, but
Okay.
I think I will. So to delve more about this topic, we're now joined with certified financial planner, Metta Anggriani. So hello Metta, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming, Metta.
For coming here.
Thank you, Maria and Rangga. Good to see you tonight.
Yes, have you been following what's happening today?
Well, yeah, it's been a busy day, right? Congratulations.
Festive and momentous day for us.
Yes.
So Metta, how much money do you think we should save for our retirement planning based on our income and expenses?
Well, yeah, I mean, like in general rules, in financial planning, we should set aside about 10% of our income for savings.
Okay.
That's the ideal number. But of course, if you can save more, it's better, right? But you know, when you're saving for something, you have a lot of needs, right? You have savings for housing, for your kids' education, for retirement. So you have to allocate those
For
10%
health as well.
for others as well, right? Yeah, so I mean, then we have to review as well. I mean, like, what do we already have? I mean, like, if you are working as an employee, normally, you know, the company will register you to BPJS
Right.
Ketenagakerjaan employment, right? And they have already deducted some money to for your numbers, yeah. But that's I think about maybe 3% from your income, and then about 5 to 6% from the company contribution.
Yeah.
Yes.
And do you think it's enough?
No.
Not really, right?
Not yet enough.
Not really, right? So I guess, again, it will depends on each in everyone's, right? I mean, like how's their conditions and how much is actually their ability, their capacity to make some savings. But there's a general rule that saying that if you can save 10% of your pre-tax income for your retirement fund, then it will be safe for you for the next round, right? But you know, 10% of the the annual income. Like for example, if you have like maybe 1 billion rupiahs a year, then you have to save like 100 million rupiahs a year, and you divide it by 12 months.
Okay.
It may sound easy, but that's quite a lot, right?
Yeah.
For
I
some
think
people,
so.
right?
When you do it, it's not that easy to realize it.
Yes.
Yes, and I think the challenge is to calculate how much do we need for pension later on, right?
Right.
That's the difficult things, because then we have to really calculate, I mean, like, how long are we from that retirement age?
Right.
Because that depends on how much money you have to save, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to think about, will you be still having dependents at your retirement age? Because then you will need a lot more money as well. And you have other considerations like your health or your life expectancy, or if you have other source of social security pension fund maybe or something, or just what kind of lifestyle you have during at your retirement age, right? So there's quite a lot of calculations. So the 10% number is the ideal way, but then you have to calculate as well. I mean, like for each type of your condition, how much you affordable for you to saving for retirement fund.
Right. So, Metta, you mentioned dependence, right? Now, again, some people, when they're single, maybe it's an easier thing to do to save 10%, maybe more, right? But then when you have dependents, when you're married, maybe when you don't have one yet. But I just, what I wanted to find out from you, is there also a general idea or rule or a rule of thumb when you are single, 10% is good. If you can do more, that's even better. But when you're a married person with a dependent or two, is there also a general rule of savings for retirement?
Well, I guess the rules is actually, I think, is the same.
Okay.
But the thing is, when you have more dependents, especially if you are a sandwich generation, when you have to cover for your kids as well as your parents, then the need for you to prepare for your retirement fund is actually more important. So you have to really force yourself to do it. So again, like you said, maybe better to do it even earlier. Maybe even if when you're single, when you started to doing it for your maybe for something later on, because that's the rule of financial planning. We don't talk only about the money, what we talk about, the timing, right? So if you can start saving for retirement plan for as early as possible, then you will have more time to accumulate your savings, right? So you can start with a small amount, but then you have a lot of time to accumulate. But what if you started late?
Right.
You will need a bigger amount because you have a less time.
It's going to be even
accumulate.
harder.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
All right.
So yeah, you mentioned that we should start as early as possible. Maybe when we start our very first job.
Start working. Maybe.
Is that possible?
Is it possible? Actually, yes, it is. But of course, as a first jobber, you will have a lot of other things
Spending.
to do, right?
Okay, and what are the key financial goals that we should aim for our retirement plan?
Well, before we reach to the retirement, I think what we need to do is, if we can list down what is actually our needs during retirement. I mean, like we still need some money for our living, right? We may need money from our health expenses because the older we are, the more risk for us for our health, or again, if you have still dependents and other things. And then the second thing that we have to ensure is that we have to settle all our debts before we retire.
Okay, so that's an important thing too.
Yes, of course, because I mean, like when you retire, you have less income.
True.
You will focus on your daily living, right? You will need to ensure that all your burden has already passed by, right? And the third is you have to really make a list of your assets. What your portfolio, and the thing is, what's more important when you're entering a retirement age, you have to balance your portfolio of assets to ensure that you have quite a good amount of liquid, not just the fixed assets.
Okay.
Right. So that's the more important thing. So again, some people, when we have assets, we think of having a fixed asset, the real assets that available in front of us, but the thing is, you will have to have more cash as well, some liquids. So that's more important.
We should take notes on that, Rangga.
Exactly. So when somebody's about to retire, or maybe they're still in the workforce, is it then very crucial or important for them to have a good knowledge or understanding, literacy about this, right? And how soon should they start about getting more understanding?
Yes, actually, as I mentioned, the earlier the better. I mean, like nowadays, I think we have the retirement age. It's about maybe 55, 56. The law and also the company's regulation normally at that amount. But unfortunately, most of the companies, they provide like retirement planning session for their employee, maybe just 1 or 2 years before they retired.
We heard that.
Yeah, so actually I would like to propose, if we can, I mean, like if we have to promote this retirement planning literacy for people working, maybe 5 to 10 years even before they retire.
Right. Okay.
Because then you have to really make sure that our needs will be covered when we don't have any more income, right? Because after we retire, the life continues, right?
Yes, that's true.
So what will happen after that? We don't want to burden our kids, so the sandwich generation will continue then.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's way too late. 2 hours prior to retirement to get.
Yeah, I agree on that too. And okay, it's about the financial retirement plan. That's very important. But what about some of us who still want to have a stabilized income? I mean, a stable, but maybe passive income. In our retirement years.
Oh yeah, that's important too. Because again, when we are still productive, when we're still working, the ideally is that we have to, to accumulate our assets, to accumulate our wealth. So again, we expect that wealth, that asset, will help us to, to continue living after we retire, right?
Yeah.
Right. So again, do we have the retirement fund, giving to us, periodically after we retired, like at annuity, or do we have, this is your retirement fund, you will provide it upfront when you retire. So you have to manage it, right? So again, we cannot only depend on that retirement fund, but if you already have assets that you can give you some passive income, that will be even better. You know, like for example, if you have real assets, you have some houses, or you know that you can rent out to others, so you have more income other than just your retirement fund, right? So I guess that we should start early as well when we are young to start to make investments that, and later on maybe that investment not only helping you for your passive income for retirement, but at the end maybe it will be you can use it for inheritance for your kids, independence. So it's about distributing your assets after you retire.
Have you started, Rangga?
No, not really.
Because I haven't.
Yeah, so that's why I think I want to move, take a little bit further. You mentioned about investment,
right?
And just this, past topic. Now, how can we then strategize to have the best way or the most effective way to invest, prior to retirement, and then, or maybe during retirement that you can also still do, I believe, right?
Yes. Well, for investment, I think we have to really ensure that what is the goal of our investment, right? Like for example, if our goal is to have this retirement plan, and how long will you be retiring? If you're retiring maybe still 10 to 20 years from now, it will be a longer term, right? So you can choose the instruments that is right for a longer term. But for example, if I will be retired in 2 or 5 years, then I would not put the money I have in the instrument that is aggressive. I have to put it minimum or conservative way. So first, for investment, we have to know our goals. We have to define the terms, and then we have to choose the right instrument for that. So I think that's the very basic of investment that we need to do. So like your questions, when I already retired, for example, can I still make some investment? Yes, maybe if I still have some income, but when I retired, maybe my investment should not be very aggressive, because I have to make sure that the money are available whenever I need it, because my capacity to earn money is lower than when I was young, right?
I see. And can you elaborate more on the aggressive and safe investment, maybe for all of us who are still very new to investment world?
Okay, well, I mean, like for example, because in investing, there are we want some returns, right? We want some more income, right? But then there's always a risk attached to it, and the risk and returns are always aligned. So for example, if I want to invest, like for example, if my retirement is 3 to 3 years more, so it's a very short term, right? I want to make sure that the money is there. So I don't want to put some money in the high risk investment. So it means that I have to be comfort. I have to accept that the return will not be as high as as I want.
Right.
But if you're still retired in 10 years or 20 years from now, you have a lot of time to cover, right? If you go for an instrument that gives you more return, of course it is a high risk, but over time it will compensate it. Right.
Okay.
So that's why that's the most important thing to do when we talk about investment, because there's always risk to it. And some people, they don't consider the risk because they already, they are already attracted to the number of returns. To the returns,
Okay. Now, Metta, there's a phenomenon at the moment, like you said, sandwich generation. Now, as let's say somebody who is a sandwich generation individual, how do you have any tips on how to manage the financial obligations? As someone who needs to provide to their kids, and then also to provide to their parents.
That's real tricky.
Above them, is there any tips on that?
Yes, I mean like their capacity is very stretched, right? Because then the needs are more than comparing to other people. So that's why maybe they should be very careful in maintaining their lifestyle, because then they have to focus on their needs first, and the needs is actually not just my needs, but others' needs as well, right? So, but then you have to think of more longer term. That's why you have to ensure that you have to save for your parents, you have to save for your kids, and then you have to save for my own retirement. So that's why they have to be very stretched in managing their money. So yeah, I mean like, but of course we don't have to, we still have to enjoy life, right? I mean like they still want to, they have kids, they have parents. you know, the togetherness of the family is also important. So that you have to budget all those kind of things. That's why I think the budgeting is very important for the sandwich generation, because then you can track where your money goes, right? Yeah.
You don't want to go through life suffering because you're too strict on yourself on the financial area,
right. Of course, but they say it's a YOLO, right? You only live once. But that one time is actually very long.
So be wise.
Yeah.
All right, Metta, thank you very much for the insight and also the tips and everything on financial planning, and of course for us, you know, who are still not sometimes thinking about retiring and saving for retirement. I think it's the best time to start.
Yes, thank you so much, Metta. We take notes from you.
Sure, thank you very much for tonight.
Yes. All right, guys, we are going to take a break, but see these stories will continue after this, so you want to stay tuned.